It's never good when there's so much bad news CNN has to switch to a smaller font to fit it all. And it's definitely about to get worse for Trump because of these two Shreks.
The two Shreks are otherwise known as close associates of Rudy Giuliani, both of them Ukrainian-born. They're charged with making illegal campaign contributions to influence the U.S. election and are said to have been helping Giuliani track down dirt on Democrats in Ukraine. The New York Times reports the Southern District of New York, where we remind you Rudy was once the U.S. attorney, is actively investigating his dealings in Ukraine. Two former federal prosecutors and friends of this broadcast, Joyce Vance, Barbara McQuaid, write today, quote, based on facts already in the public record, we believe that Rudolph Giuliani could be indicted now for conspiracy to interfere with the fair administration of elections, conspiracy to commit bribery, and contempt of Congress. Rudy has said he's not aware of any investigation, though we note he's been notably absent from Fox News primetime lineup. Here with us tonight, another former Fed, Mimi Rocah, former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. What are the chances? Now a distinguished fellow in criminal justice at the Pace University School of Law. Counselor, do you think Rudolph Giuliani recognizes the legal jeopardy he faces right now?
I do. And the reason I think he recognizes it is because he's apparently been declining to go on TV and give interviews. And when I saw that, I thought Giuliani actually knows that there's real trouble, because for him to be silent, I mean, we've talked for 2 years about, Giuliani can't stay off of television and doing interviews and admitting things left and right. So he's finally quiet, which tells me that he knows he's in some hot water here.
Last night, we saw him come up for air briefly on Twitter, and I'll show you what he wrote. We'll put it on the screen, and I wanted to ask you if this is a valid defense. With all the fake news, let me make it clear that everything I did was to discover evidence to defend my client against false charges. Dems would be horrified by the attacks on me if my client was a terrorist, but they don't believe Donald Trump has rights. Justice will prevail. The portion we've highlighted there, what's the significance?
Well, yes, so he knows he's in some legal trouble, but I think he can't quite figure out, what to defend against. And so he's trying once again, as he's done many times before, to hide behind the shield of attorney-client privilege, of being the lawyer. I'm just, a lawyer defending my client, and therefore anything I do is okay. Well, that's obviously not true. The attorney-client privilege, the role of an attorney, is something very important and something that should be respected. He's abusing it. And in fact, what he really did there is he really put a dent in what Trump and others have been saying, which is, everything we were doing with Ukraine, we were just doing to look out for, dig up corruption in Ukraine, and we were looking out for the best interests of the United States. No, Giuliani just got on Twitter and said, no, this was for the personal benefit of Donald Trump, which we all know from the facts and circumstances, and now Giuliani has admitted it.
One of the so-called two Shreks is claiming executive privilege. Can a Ukrainian claim executive privilege between him and our president?
It's a ludicrous claim. And it sounds like the prosecutor in court was, said, this is the first time we're hearing of that. Now, again, attorney-client privilege, yes, you would have to be careful of that. Not a total shield. They have to, sounds like they already have in place some kind of, filter team to go through and make sure they don't pierce that privilege if it's there in a valid way. But executive privilege, so the president's personal lawyers, criminal conspirators have executive privilege. I mean, it's preposterous, but what it does, again, is it does draw a line between these two guys and the president. I mean, they're making some connection there. There must have been some kind of interaction, whether it was direct or indirect through Giuliani. So even though it's a ludicrous claim of executive privilege, I think it's very interesting factually when we see what is the line that they're able to make that connection.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.